Hi, Barbara. You're muted though. Your mic is muted.
Okay, so now say it again. How are you? Oh.
Commissioner Booker's not going to make it tonight. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And I just wanted to recap some of the things that we discussed last time, and then maybe we can start to put together a plan of action so that we can come up with like a real strategic plan as we discussed a couple of weeks ago.
Sounds
Uh,
good.
okay. So I was reviewing some of the documents that you sent, and I guess one thing about those documents before we get into the other stuff is that for the basic peer support in April, is that like that training is done by um, is that done by who is the counseling team? Is that an
Oh,
out?
I'm sorry. International Counseling, the Counseling Team International. And it's a company that we've used before and we've been very happy with. And I have to give you an update on that too, because um, we apparently there is a new process for contracts or it's being revised by the city.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what that is about, but I do know that we are going to have to take the counseling team international through that whole process, regardless of whether we've used them or not before.
Are you
Um,
not able to do that training now? Is that what you're saying?
we are going to have to postpone it. What honestly, what I'm trying to, I just found this out. So what I would like to do is I would like to see if I could find other funding. Because the last time I was involved with contractual process was with Michael Palmertree,
Mm-hmm.
and it took about 6 months.
Mm.
And
Okay.
he was already an active vendor. So I don't want to. I will say I'm so excited to tell you that our wellness week went really well last week,
Oh, cool.
and we had two peer support events to introduce the peer support team, and they are motivated and they are charged. And so I don't want to tell them that we can't have the training for 6 months because we can't use them if they're not trained and certified. So we could start a mentorship program for them, which would be something, but we really need to get them trained.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where we are right now, looking for options. I
Okay.
also am going to start the process tomorrow um, of putting them through that whole contractual procedure. I'm not sure what it is. I've done it before, but I don't think that matters because if it's being revised, what I did before doesn't matter really
Okay.
because the process would be different.
There's four of them, is that right?
How many? I'm sorry, what?
How many people were scheduled to go to the
30.
30? Okay.
30.
And then, like, what's recommended in terms of like all the like in terms of the size of the department? How many peer support people should there be? Like one per every 25 people? Does it design it like that, or how does? What do you think?
I know our goal has always been 50, so how that translates to one per, I don't know. But part of the recommendation by the Peer Support Association, International Association of Chiefs of Police, a couple of other standard setting bodies is you look at a number of factors, not just the number of people you have, because if you have a workforce of 1,000 and no crime, you know
You're
it's an entirely different story.
yeah.
So that's we look
Num-
at a number of different factors to determine, and like I said, our goal has always been 50. So um we I'm sure that we were able to arrive at that based on a number of factors.
Yeah, probably looking at number of critical incidents, crime, a whole bunch of things.
I'm sure you're right.
Yeah. Okay. And then let's see. Okay, so that was that one document, and then the is this called the promising strategies for strengthening police department wellness programs. So is that document? Let me go back to my notes real quick. Is that what you were referring to when you said that you worked with the International Association Chiefs of Police and you all referenced like 13 different policies to help create uh, like a strategy?
Well, to create a policy and a wellness unit, actually. 13 different policies are what's recommended in that document. There are a number of, the reason that I use that document, that I sent you that document, is because it's the most recent one that's been put out, and it has a lot of really good examples in it of other agencies, um, uh, policies, of their practices. And I just really like the idea of being able to look somewhere else at someone that has been successful. And so that was why I recommended that document, was for that
Okay.
reason. And it is the most recent document that's out. And
Okay.
PERF is the, performance and, oh, I can't think of what PERF stands for. We use so many acronyms, but anyway, it is a standard setting body, and the R does stand for, I know, research. So that's how they come about all of these documents they produce and all of that, and the reports and the white papers. It's through their research.
Okay, so you use that document to as like a template to design the wellness program for OPD. Is that correct statement?
No, we use it as one of the references because, again, what we did when we
Sure.
designed the wellness unit was we looked at a number of different standards. We looked at a number of different agencies with successful wellness units. We looked at agencies that were similar to our situation in terms of size, population of city, all of that, crime rates. And then we enlisted five major agencies that had successful programs and wrote our program from that. So we pulled from several different agencies, and we had those agencies actually um, send in their subject matter experts to help us out with that.
Okay, so
So,
that's one of the 13 policies you referenced. That's all that is, right? And it's the most.
well, no, the 13 policies are, I'm not sure how many policies are in that PERF document that I sent you, but the 13 policies were what IACP recommended we take a look at to see whether they needed to be upgraded or changed or rewritten, whatever. And so that's the 13 policies. They were our own policies: policy on lactation, wellness, critical incidents, clergy, all of those. And so we only picked a few because you can't do everything, to actually revise or rewrite, or even with wellness, there was no policy. So to write a policy for wellness.
Okay, so we're still okay. So in terms of a policy, um, we still need to have like one overall policy. Is that correct?
We need, actually, where we are right now, my recommendation is that we focus on two policies. And
What's
those
what?
policies would be a wellness policy, so that we have a reference and a standard for our wellness unit and the way that we administer wellness and wellness services to staff. That would be one. The second, that has to be written. We only have a draft. Then the second recommendation I would make is that we update our critical incident and peer support policy. That is one policy, but it needs to be updated. So at this point, I mean, realistically, what we could actually do, I think those are the two most critical policies, and I think those are the two that we should focus on.
Okay, Hold on, my computer here is freezing up on me. I was making notes what you're saying. So a wellness policy that serves as a reference and standard for the wellness unit that governs how the wellness unit provides wellness to staff, right? And then
Mhm.
and then the second one is a critical incident policy that, come on,
Critical incident and peer support. It's one policy.
okay, critical incident and peer support policy, which basically governs how um, people receive peer support as a result of critical incidents, right?
Well, it actually is two parts. One is because we have two teams. We have the peer support team and then we have the critical incident team. Now, they overlap. We have some people who are certified in peer support, some in critical incident, and then we have some that are certified in both. The peer support team serves more of an internal function. The
Wait,
critical incident team
wait,
serves
wait.
more of an overall function. So it serves an external function as well. Like, let's say an officer goes out and the victim was a child. That critical incident needs a lot of attention, especially when you have an officer that answers a call that has children.
Right.
So the peer support team doesn't necessarily deal with the critical incidents unless they're doing follow-up. So once we have a debrief for a critical incident, then then a critical incident person would follow up, or a peer support team member would follow up to make, just to check in with the folks.
Got it.
Um, what
Okay.
that policy actually does, though, is it manages the programs themselves. So it sets standards for what kind of, who is it that you want as a peer support person? Not just the person that raises their hand, but there has to be some kind of a standard. What is required? We require that their supervisor approve of them becoming a peer support team member, because it's all volunteer. These folks are not paid for this. They are doing this. If they get a call at 1 o'clock in the morning and there's been a critical incident and we ask them to come, they have agreed. I mean, it's not mandatory that they do, but they do volunteer to come. So what the
Actually, I just want to ask a question. How come they don't get paid overtime?
That's not a question I can answer.
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
understand.
the peer support and critical incident, well, the critical incident teams, it's a little different because they are required to go to debriefs and all of that. So that's a little different. I can't answer how that is actually, I mean, I'm not really sure how
So
that's handled in terms of overtime, but peer support is not.
peer support, there's no overtime. It's all purely
No,
here. Okay.
purely voluntary.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's good to hear. Okay. So two policies: the wellness policy for the wellness unit that governs how wellness is provided to OPD, basically, and then another policy that governs how uh, to select people who are going to be a part of peer support and critical incident teams. There may be some overlap, maybe not, but it's two different teams of people, basically. And then so those are the two main policies, you think, just policy
Right.
wise?
And
Okay.
the critical incident policy and peer support policy manages framework, training, call outs, all kinds of things. I mean, it's not just how they're selected.
Right now, I understand. Okay.
Example, it's mandatory that there is a debrief after a critical incident.
Then stress debrief. No, I totally understand. I just I can only type so fast. But yeah, the framework training call outs, thank you for helping me capture that as well. So is there any kind of policy for peer support right now? How is it
Uh-huh.
how,
Yes.
how is it that you're saying that, hey, you're going to go to this peer support training and you've selected people through those 30 people? What policy is that? What policy you're following to do that?
We have a policy and procedures manual for peer support and critical incidents right now.
Okay.
We also have a peer support and critical incident policy directive. It just needs to, that policy just needs to be updated.
Okay, so the critical incident and peer support policies, they need it. Right now, it's two different policies, and they both
No,
need.
it's one.
It's one, and it just
Yes.
needs to be updated, right?
They're treated separately, but it's it's all in one
But it's all
policy.
one policy. Got it.
Yeah,
One part of it covers critical incident. One part of it covers peer support. Okay.
correct.
All right. And then in terms of how the wellness unit provides wellness to the department, there is no policy for that at all?
No,
Huh.
unless
Okay.
there's something that they have, in terms of the benefits office may have something. I don't know if they do or not.
No, I don't know of one, and I don't ever remember Dr. Nettles referring to one. So, maybe you're right. Maybe I can double check Power DMS, but I don't know if there is.
No, I know it's not in there. Yeah, I know it's not in there. Is, I mean, in terms of an actual wellness policy, I know for a fact that there is not one, because this has been on our, let's call it a list of things to do
Uh-huh.
since for years. That it's something that we've known we needed, but we just didn't have the bandwidth to do it.
Got it. Okay. And then in terms of, I want to ask a little bit about the survey that you guys gave. I'm not sure how long ago that was, but I guess all of this started, the discussion around this started way back in 2015. Maybe it was somewhere soon after that, but
2018, yeah.
2018, okay. And you said you hired Urban Institute to provide,
Correct.
to provide a survey to the department. You had a 70% response rate, where typically you only get like 17%.
17's good, yeah.
Yeah, so 70% is amazing. I mean, so is like one of the things you want to do before you leave in June is maybe do another survey so we have fresh, because one of the things that you had touched on that I thought was really insightful was saying how in terms of getting, like a grant program and things like that, is that you need to be collecting data, right? And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, is that something that you want to do so that you can collect like some brand new data and maybe ask the same questions like, how has OPD changed you and things like that?
We were supposed to do a second survey in 2023, I believe. Dr. Nettles did do a survey, but it didn't, it wasn't there was no qualitative comparison. So we really couldn't use it to determine anything. So I would really like to send you the survey results from Urban. I would like you to see it was really a very comprehensive survey. I mean, and the way that they presented the data is crystal clear in terms of what we needed to do. They made the recommendations, all of that, and we did. That was part of how we went forward. The only data that we really have is we have peer support data. The peer support team, the peer support members are required to turn in an annual report. So we do have that, but
Keisha marks, ice or one other.
I'm sorry. But we are using Cortico now. And I sent you an email. I sent you an email with some information and about the training that you asked about. And one of the things that I mentioned there was Cortico.
So this one that you just sent.
Yeah, I just sent it. I just sent it like right before 6 o'clock. I apologize, but it's been a little bit of a crazy day.
All good.
But Cortico will collect data for us on a number of things. One is peer support information. So that is something that we need to develop is the use of Cortico.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point because I'm just reading the email down at the Cortico portion. And I remember that I was talking about this with another department about their wellness, and they also brought up how they use this Cortico app. And were you going to say that maybe how to like, uh, how do you get Cortico to capture like how many people are using it and when and things like, is that what you're going to say?
No, I was going to say, we already know that. Cortico can tell us that. What I was going to say was we have to figure out how to get more people to use it. Now, there has to be a reason. One of the things that folks don't generally just go to Cortico just to go to Cortico.
Yeah.
So I'll give you two examples of how we can get more people to use it. One is with when folks are issued a city phone, that Cortico app should be loaded on their city phone, on their OPD phone.
Okay.
Two is when our peer support members are trained, part of the training should be that they are aware that their reporting is through the Cortico app. So I don't have to send out a memo and say, you guys, don't forget, you have to send your reports in. No, Cortico, all they have to do is go to their Cortico, open their Cortico account, and they can put the data right in. That's another way. Third way is, and I'm saying this because we learned a lot of things last week during Wellness Week, and I'm putting something together so that, so that we can really comprehend and I can share what we did learn. One of the things that I learned was we had Cortico videos, which were 2 to 5 minute videos set up for every lineup. And there's lineup 6:15, 7:15, 9:15, 2:15, 9:15, and 10:15 at night. So at every lineup we showed a video on wellness. And we did that at both locations. Well, actually all three. They did a little bit different at comms. But we did it at both locations for every lineup. And we reached
I just had a question real quick. So the three
sure.
locations, you got Eastmont, the PAB. Where's the third location?
Oh, it's communications where the dispatchers are.
Oh, okay. And is that over on MLK Way? Is that where that is?
It's the one that's on Edgewater, right off of Hagenberger.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. All right. You know where the Corp Yard is over there, where they fix everything and all that? It's at the end of Edgewater.
Yeah, I've been over there for when they had a street sign made. I think that's the area you're talking about.
Yeah, probably.
Hagenberg, you make a right and you go all the way back in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. So that's where the dispatchers are. And they have to do things a little bit differently because they don't actually have lineups. People cannot leave their chairs. I mean, but still they have a common area where those videos played all day.
Oh, I see.
So one of the things we learned was that is a really good way to get folks some quick mini training on health and wellness, even breathing, stretching, some of those types of things, nutrition. And it doesn't take long. And then they're aware of Cortico and what Cortico offers. So those three ways are ways that we can actually, push it out a little more. Having a sign hanging on the gym door is not going to do it.
Yeah.
Or sending out emails and saying, oh, you guys should really use Cortico because it's wonderful. It is wonderful, but I need to have a reason to go there, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I think it needs to be ingrained in their daily operation. Like you're saying, like if you have a city phone, the app should already be on there. Do it offer it at their lineups to help show them how it can benefit them, etc. So in terms of, because I know that you leave in June, we kind of have the policy piece, like what needs to be done in terms of creating a strategic plan that can be developed and implemented and executed. Where else would you like to start with that?
Well, I already put a draft together.
Oh, you have a draft. Okay.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I actually did that today.
You did that today. Did all.
I've done a number of them. So really, I just took up the framework of one that I've already done, and I took our policy and procedures manual, and it wasn't that difficult. But it's a draft, and I'd like to work on it for a couple days before I send it to you. And then maybe that's a good place to start.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that's a perfect place to start because you're going to include like a policy piece within the strategic plan, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's included.
And
The update.
are you going to include like historical information about the seed money that you all received in 2018 or whatever, and what's been done, so you have to have, so you don't have to continuously start over, right?
Yeah, right. There's a background. The very first thing is background information, and then everything from goals to mission goals, all of that. But budget, timelines, it's all in there, and it's a strategic plan for 1 year. If you want it longer than that, I'm sure we can work on something longer. But I'm trying to be realistic with the time I have left and really put some things in place that can be sustained.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a perfect place to start. Like when I've done strategic plans for commissions, they've always been designed to be executed within 1 to 2 years, because so that you can like get the ball rolling and people can like jump in and see where they fit in. So no, I think that's good. I think that's a good place to start. It's
okay.
And then they should have the new person, your replacement, I would think, within a year. I hope. So
I certainly hope so.
yeah.
I mean, we have a policy and procedures plan that the Collective Healing, our working group put together, that is it's complete, and it makes everything so much easier because it is a blueprint for this whole wellness program. So, and it's been used by a number of other police and law enforcement agencies. So it makes the rest of this the strategic plan and all that, it makes it kind of easy, actually. There's even the strategic plan, the former strategic plan that we wrote in 2020, I think. Even that is in there as one of the appendices.
Well, what was it that Dr. Nettles presented to the commission? Like
that was our policy and procedures manual.
I know, but she called it a strategic plan. Are you sure that we're talking about the same thing?
I'm 100% positive.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then I'm just going through your email again. Let's see. Academy.
Now, I will say this, there were some modifications made to that document that she submitted, but not many.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you're also talking about Academy, what gets presented in there. Wellness trainings has been presented to staff, by staff to the Academy. Sworn members and dispatchers, the training that directly addresses officer mental health is officer wellness class, part of their CIT training, focused on self-care. Okay. And all this training is like some kind of one-time training, or?
Some of it is ongoing. The problem with the classroom training is you can't really see the practical application of it. So, for example, with critical incidents, the practical application in the field is that there is always a group of people who are mentoring the newer officers or the younger officers, and that's more. I really do believe that's more of the culture of law enforcement, that you can't. I don't know how you document that really, because that starts in the academy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
Those, you always have, I mean, you go to school, you go to class, and then you have practicals, right? And so that practical part of, ooh, don't do that. That practical part, it's contagious, um, is something that really can't be ignored or shouldn't be left out, I think. But
Mhm.
yes, to your point, the trainings that you're talking about are mostly a one-time deal.
Okay, yeah, because it can't just be
Except Cortico is not.
okay.
Yeah. CIT really isn't either. I mean, you can go to you can do that training more than once.
And what do they have to do for CIT training? Like 40 hours, the minimum or something?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what that I can find out for you, but I don't know how long that training is.
Okay. Um, so in terms of a strategic plan, you think that you could have a draft by the next meeting? Is that what
Oh,
you,
absolutely. Yes, for sure.
um, and then in terms of having that, and then see our next meeting is, let me just look at the calendar here. Mm, Okay. So we're looking at like mid-April. And then you're going to be here until the end of June or the beginning of June?
End of June.
Okay. So I think if we discuss the strategic plan in April and then maybe discuss the policies in May and June, what do you think about that? Or what do you think needs the most time to put into? Like the
I
develop policies and the strategic plan or something else?
I think that because you and I both have experience with strategic plans, I think that is not going to be that difficult. And the other thing too is once we write it, we can always change it.
Always change. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think what's really important are those two policies. I think those are the two things that because even though if those two policies are in place, they have to go through a process, right? Like everything, it has to go through a process. So if we can get them written and get them started through the process, they'll finish that process. And then there will be something that no matter how many times we change administration or how many times, officers come and go or whatever, whoever it is that's in the wellness unit or managing peer support and critical incidents, they will have instructions on what to do.
Okay.
And so that's why I think that is really important. In terms of continuity and sustainability, I think those are the two things that are key.
Okay, I agree that the policies, a strategic plan. What else is like? Well, I definitely think those are the top three things. But is there anything else that you would put up there along with them or close up there? Would you? I mean, I can't really think of anything because, like, in the strategic plan and in these policies, you're going to put all the information in that you want to see in the program, including budget, timelines, all that stuff, right? So,
Yes.
okay. All right. So in terms of, were you going to say something?
There is one other thing,
Okay.
and it's kind of related to everything. And again, I will say this because I have 10 years of experience at OPD with this. And that is we have got to have a grant coordinator. We have not had it. I don't even know how long it's been. It's been a long time. And I sent out last week to our grants group, a group of folks who, were strategically picked to go through a grants class.
Wait,
And
before you get into the details of that, is that like someone that you need to hire to do that full time or part time, or
full time, full
why
time.
why can't one of the peer support people or something like that be trained how to do it?
Well, I will tell you why, because it's a very, very specific skill set if you do it correctly.
Okay.
Because you have to already have the relationships built with folks that have the money.
Oh, okay, okay.
Otherwise, if you don't have those relationships, I mean, we have in our policy and procedures manual for wellness, there are 4 pages of resources listed. So
Hmm.
you could call all these or email or whatever, but that isn't how it works. The way it works, you know how it works. The way it works is you have to have a way to get in. And so those relationships that people have with DOJ, with the state JAG office, with local funders. That's how we get funded.
Okay, and then what else about in terms of like staff? You're talking about having a grants person, a wellness coordinator, director, whatever the formal name is. I think it's
And,
director. And
and a
then what?
support person in wellness. There has to be a support person. I can tell you that from.
So that would mean like another FTE, right? Like a assistant director or director
No,
of.
no, no. Just someone that is familiar with, what are they called? We call them administrative analysts or administrative something.
Some
I
sort of
can't.
professional administrative support.
It's a person, right? That's administrative support. Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, so that's another FTE.
Right.
Okay. And is that it, or do you need like more staff? Like what about?
Well, of course, but I'm trying to be realistic here too. And I think that would be a very good start if we had a wellness director, coordinator, and if that person had an administrative assistant.
Okay, all right.
It would be a very good start. The
The only
reason,
but the only reason why I'm asking more about staff is because I know that one of the big things that Dr. Nettles was pointing out is saying that they need like full-time drug and alcohol counselors to help with the identification and the training and all that. Is that something that's just further down the road, or you disagree with that?
so I don't disagree at all. But at the same time, trying to be prudent and understanding what our budget has been for the last many years, I think that is better left to, for the reasons of confidentiality and to make sure that we have professionals that are providing these services. It's better left to contractual agreements with the specialists, with the professionals. And that when we notice something or like that, or a person comes to us for that service, that we can refer them to a professional that can help them.
Okay, so hire contractors in that situation.
Exactly.
All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Then you kind of keep them as like a third party outside of, maybe they feel more comfortable going to them when it's a third party. Yeah.
Absolutely, they would. I can tell you, yes, I'm sure that is the case.
Okay.
So drugs, alcohol, and it's the same thing with our mental health person. I mean, they are not on scene. I mean, on site. They're contacted by the person who needs the services, and they go to them. And
So
it's.
but you work at the PAB, right? And where did
Mhm.
Dr. Nettles work at? Didn't she work on site?
Yeah, she was out of the PAB, right? But she wasn't a psychologist, though. She didn't do counseling or anything.
But you're saying that the new wellness director should not be on site.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm saying that the mental health provider that we have right now,
Oh, yeah,
similar,
yeah, yeah.
giving you a similar example to drug and alcohol counseling,
Okay.
our mental health person is not on site.
Okay, you're talking about like the psychologist.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay, so in terms of the top things that I have here, strategic plan, wellness governing policy, critical incident and peer support policy, and then staffing, which includes a grants coordinator and administrative support, both FTEs.
The wellness coordinator. Commissioner Farmer, I bring up the grants coordination position, the grants manager position, because it's a position that is not in wellness, but it affects every single department with OPD. And there are grants out there. This is grant season right now. And the grant season for the federal government is short. The window is it closes quickly. So if you don't have a person who can manage that and who knows and is prepared ahead of time and knows what the purpose is of these grants, we miss out on millions of dollars. And that's the grants position, believe me, it pays for itself when you talk about return. Because if you pay someone a salary of $200,000 a year and they bring in 6 million, I would say that's a worthwhile investment.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing return on investment. And I think you also pointed out that between yourself and maybe some other people at OPD, that over the years, you all had brought in millions of dollars for wellness.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, definitely, I think a full-time, I guess it's not specific to wellness, but in order to improve the wellness program, you're going to need that. So it's, it's something that, it's definitely something that, because we have like our annual budget recommendations that we make. And this is something that I can discuss with the commission in terms of making just like one of those types of recommendation, a grants coordinator for the department, getting funds to fill that type of role. I think that's reasonable. And then the other two wellness specific positions, a director, I guess there's already funds for that, and administrative support. So
yeah. And this is the first time since I've been involved with wellness since 2018, 2017, 2018. And you're right about the 2015 date is when when council gave the wellness unit its seed money. So you're right about that 2015 date.
And the seed was $250,000, right?
I think it was 450.
What
I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was about 450,000.
What did that go towards? I don't understand.
It was to developing the facility, to renovating that 6th floor that is now used as the wellness unit. That it was mostly just to build the structure itself. And that wasn't much money to do that. I mean, and then they had staff there and they started putting together a framework and programs.
Okay, so on the 6th floor at the PAB, that's where like a lot of the wellness things are. Is that what you're saying?
Right. And you're welcome to come there anytime. Let me know if you'd like to come down and, take a look, or even the one at Eastmont too. We could go over there as well.
Where do you work at? You work at
on the 6th floor in the wellness unit. I have an office in the wellness unit.
Okay. And then like, what else was the money? I guess, money can go up fast, especially when you're trying to do like government contracts. But where else have you guys gotten money? Like you say, you brought in millions of dollars, right? Like what's the
Not all for wellness, but some with Ceasefire, some with CGIC. I mean, different programs.
Okay, but wellness specific, do you have a history of the grants that you all have used?
Yes.
And what the funds have been used for? Because they have like a someone who oversees the grant?
So my role in this was to find the money, write the grant, which included the budget. What is this going to be used for? And the management of the grants is not the role that I play. So the question about what the money was used for, that has to be answered by our fiscal office. Because I didn't Dr. Nettles managed two of the grants that I'm talking about, which was probably about 700,000, 750, something like that.
Okay. But you do know the grants. Are you familiar with the grants that have been brought in that are specific to wellness?
Yeah, I think that all of the grants, I think the grants that came into wellness, as far as I know, they were all the ones that I wrote. I don't think there were any others that I'd have to look and see, but um,
I think some of it was used for staffing. I believe that Dr. Nettle said that her position,
no, her position was paid by general fund.
oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah. And the intern was paid by general fund too.
Okay. So it's
Yeah,
also so it's also possible to get not just these FTE positions, but maybe more money from city council for the budget since they gave you the seed money,
it's
almost
possible. It's
possible, right?
possible.
I
The
mean,
temperature of the country in terms of funding law enforcement, mental health is very good right now. I mean, it is, what the federal government, state government, private funders are willing to fund because they have seen the importance and the need for mental health and wellness.
yeah.
So we have not had to ask council or the city for money except for staffing for wellness because we've been very fortunate that that money is out there. But yes, right now we have no grants. The way the grants work, as you know, is you apply, and if you're funded, you don't get the grant the next day. It comes in the next cycle of the next budget cycle.
Okay.
So,
Are you applying for any grants right now?
Because no, I'm not. I'm just going to say that. Funding from smaller agencies, from private agencies, yes, but I'm not the larger federal grants. No,
What do you mean? So you're taking like private donations for wellness?
no, not well, sort of. So there are nonprofits, private nonprofits like the Gary Sinise Foundation. Gary Sinise Foundation has this foundation just for public safety.
Yeah,
Uh,
no.
fi-
Mhm.
Firehouse Subs, same thing. They have a foundation that just is to uh, provide grants for public safety projects. Even Target and Walmart and some of those companies do the same thing. So that is, that's who I'm talking about. The private foundations that fund law enforcement projects or um, wellness units, whatever.
So, how many of those different foundations are you working with now? Like, is there like a target amount of money?
Three.
Three, and you're trying to get
Well,
in, or how does that?
yeah, there's three, right?
Okay, and then how much money? Like, what's the goal in terms of how much funds that you want to get? Like, what's the ask?
Well,
Kind of see as much as you can get.
well, yeah, yes and no, because clearly we have to have a project and a reason for the funding. And that's been honestly, that's been part of my dilemma right now is I don't want to make promises and plan projects that
You're not going to be here for. Yeah.
well, and I'm not going to be here for, but the department can't follow through on. And if there's no person in the position of wellness coordinator, wellness director, then it can't be followed through with.
Yeah.
So that's my reluctance with the larger grants is I can apply for them, but I don't want to damage. You apply for a grant and then things fall through. They don't want to grant you, funding again.
No, I hear.
So that's far more dangerous than not applying.
Yeah,
That's why the grants coordinator would be, it's kind of like a marriage. I mean, that grants coordinator position's important, and it's important because somebody has to be there to make sure there's some continuity and accountability with these grants. And that's what the grants coordinator does. That's,
Yeah, no, you definitely don't want to burn a bridge with the grants people. It's better to err on the side of caution maybe and hold off rather
very
than
well put. Yes.
so. Okay. So I think I 100% agree with everything that you're saying in terms of the strategic plan. Whenever you're ready to share that, I would love to take a look at it. And then in terms of getting, so there already is a critical incident and peer support policy that just needs to be revised. Is that on Power DMS?
It is.
Okay. All right. I'll check that out there. And then the wellness governing policy, is that going to be started from scratch by us?
Yeah, we have a draft, but for all practical purposes, yes.
Okay.
And again, like I said, we have a policy and procedures manual, so that's really the blueprint, and it's a matter of putting it into a policy that's acceptable, format, and ticks all the right boxes so that we can get it through the process, start sending it through the channels.
Okay. The policies and procedures manual, is that created by Lexipol or who
No,
made-
that's our own staff created that with the help of the 5 other law enforcement agencies, IACP, and a couple of mental health professionals.
Okay. All right. So, do you agree that it's realistic to do these 2 policies in the strategic plan by the, say, like the beginning of June? So then we can, or mid-June?
I think we can. Yeah, I think we can do it.
Okay. And then maybe we can talk with OPD about presenting this information to the commission to show them what we've been working on
Okay.
before you depart, if that's okay with you.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. Yes, yes, yes. Whatever you need, I'm willing to. Or as I always tell people, as long as it's legal and moral, whatever you need.
The good way. Yeah.
I work for OPD, a little humor.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Uh,
this is great talking to you. I really appreciate all the great work that you're doing. In my heart of hearts, I really hope that this is something that's transformational for the department and gets people the resources that they deserve, so that they can live the best quality of life that they deserve, So,
and that translates to how they relate to the community too. So that's
right. It just
Commissioner
pays
Farmer.
community. Exactly.
There is one thing too that I want to mention to you again that we talked about in the past, and that is in that policy and procedures manual. I would like to add a reference to veterans because there isn't anything in there, and so that is something that I have no idea, what or how, and that's something that you could really, if you would help with that, that would be great.
No, that's something that we can definitely do, and I always have, I'm always looking at things through that lens. So thank you for bringing that up as well. So whenever you're ready to share some of the other documents, strategic plan, and the other policies, well, I guess I can look up critical incident and peer support policy myself, but the policies and procedures manual. Whenever you're ready to share that stuff, I'm ready to review it. And then I guess at our next meeting, we can start to go over the strategic plan maybe.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. And if you need anything from me or have any questions for me at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Shawana.
Okay. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Good night.
Good night.